Hi, I'm Dana, and it's time for this week's question. Comes from Tracy, and she writes, "My daughter is 3, and I think she may be ready to give up her naps. Can you give me some tips on the best way to do this?" Okay, Tracy, that's a great question. Most toddlers start weaning off of their naps anywhere between, I've seen children as early as 2 are ready to give up their nap, and sometimes into the 3s it lingers. And what tends to be the case is it really becomes a choice for the parent. If I gave my 3-year-old a nap, for example, she'd probably take a nap. I mean, she gets tired around right after the lunch hour, and if I, put her down for a nap, she'd probably sleep. But then the problem comes at bedtime. I like my children to be in bed at 7 o'clock. So if she takes a nap and I try to put her to bed at 7 o'clock, she's probably not going to go off to sleep very quickly. She might be in there chatting, talking, coming out, all the usual things that children do because she's not tired enough. That's usually my first indicator that a child's ready to give up the nap, is if bedtime is becoming a game or a struggle or even a sing-song. My second used to just lay in his crib and sing and sing and sing for a good hour before he finally fell asleep, and to me that sort of tells me, well, he wasn't tired enough at bedtime, so it's time to look at getting rid of his nap. Now, I've had lots of clients who say, oh, well, I really love his nap time, it's my break, and I get a bit of work done, or whatever the case may be, and so they decide to keep the nap. And that's fine. If you want to hang on to the nap, go ahead, but don't expect your toddler to then go to sleep and be ready for sleep at 7 o'clock. You'll have to adjust bedtime. And somewhere, nothing much past 8:30, that would be about as late as I'd go for the bedtime. But you will need to adjust it back a little bit. And it really depends on what is it that you prefer, an early bedtime or a bit of a later bedtime with a nap involved. So if you're ready to get rid of the nap, it's an adjustment. If you're used to taking an afternoon nap, it's going to take your body some time to get used to not having an afternoon nap. And it really will be a bit of a struggle, probably for a good 4 to 6 weeks. Anybody's body, it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks to adjust to a new way of sleeping. So you can probably still expect some afternoon grumpiness around the usual nap time. If you're out driving, your toddler's probably going to fall asleep in the car if it's his usual nap time. And if she does fall asleep in the car, don't panic. Just make sure it's fairly brief, 20 minutes, half an hour nap. That might be okay, and still you can go ahead with your earlier bedtime. I like to encourage parents to do something I call quiet time, and that is, when it's nap time, when it's the usual nap time, send your toddler off to his room, give him half an hour of independent play, which means you're not involved. He goes to his room, maybe he does some coloring or plays with his cars, or she does some singing, whatever the case may be. But it's playtime without you, and it's fairly, calm as it gets for a toddler. But and you can set a timer if you're having trouble keeping your toddler in the room or wherever the quiet time is. Setting a timer is a good idea. Just say, you need to play by yourself in this space until you hear the bell ring, and then that means quiet time's over and you can come out, and mommy will be ready for you. And that way you still get a little bit of a break from one another through the day, and it'll just help take the edge off a little bit before bedtime rolls around. Usually there's sort of a dinner time meltdown when you're getting rid of the nap, and it might just be something you're going to have to push through. If your child is no longer napping and you've decided to take the nap away, you've really got to have him ready for bed by at least 7 o'clock, and even 6:30 if it's really, if it's been really hard on her to miss her nap. There's no reason why she can't go to bed at 6:30. There's, in my opinion, really no such thing as too early to bed. I think if your child's tired, why fight it? Put your child to bed. Okay, so I hope that gives you some tips on how to get rid of a nap, and it sounds like it's probably time for your daughter to give that up. And if she takes the odd nap in the transition, it's not the end of the world. It might mean that you have a bit more struggle at bedtime getting her down. But once you've decided to get rid of a nap, I do find that it's best to really push through it and really try to encourage the body to get in line with the not napping idea. And the more the body's exposed to that, the faster things are going to fall into place. Okay, so thanks for your question and sleep well.